Hi guys, we're ready to have a crack at part 2 on my chrome graphite video. I've had the bike now 6 days and I thought well, we might as well look into going into part 2 and let's see what I have to do to it. First thing I'm looking at, the bars are way too high from when I picked it up from the dealer, so they're going to have to be dropped and levelled off, so that's a fairly easy job. I'm going to put better grips on the bike, so that's another thing which has to be done. Overall I'm still pretty happy with the bike, so that's a good sign too. The other thing I'll be doing is, these bikes originally come with a Bosch spark plug. They're not much good at any time, so this one will be replaced with an NGK spark plug. I find the NGK spark plug is, for a start, the bike will idle a lot better. In the running period it's not liable to cut out or anything like that when you're sort of running it and starting it and stuff like that, so it'll be a better behaved spark plug. Like I said, the bike will run better, it'll go better, it won't be temperamental. And why they don't bloody put a decent spark plug in them from the factory for the sake of a few dollars stuffed, if I know, but that's how they operate, and not much you can do about that, except when you get the bike, replace it with a, like I said, NGK BPR 60S, and for somewhere between $6 and $10, you know, you'll be a lot better off. When I had these bikes earlier on, like in around, say, from around the 12-14 year period, that's, you know, like going back 3 or 4 years back, I had a habit of buying the iridium version, but I was obsessed with buying the iridium spark plug, but now I find just the ordinary BPR 60S does a good job, so maybe spending $20 for iridium's a waste of money, it's hard to say. So I've had a bit of a change of idea on that one, so you don't have to go iridium, just the ordinary standard plug will do, and it'll do the job well. Now the other thing is, the next thing on the fix up, what I have to do will be the regulator. Originally, when these bikes were up until 13 or 14, they were parked up in the front part, in between the forks. Then in around about 14 or so, they relocated them in between the, or just under the seat on the C5s. They're sitting here now. Not a really good place as far as vibration goes, and then once they placed them in this position, the bracket they supplied, as you can see now, is a fairly chatty looking thing, very thin, and it'll by the time you get out on the road and ride this bike, with the vibrations on some of them, it'll last about 200 miles, and through stress this bracket will crack back in, somewhere just back in around there, and you'll come back from a ride, and this happened to about 2 of my bikes, and then I decided I'd fix it from the start. Then I told a few of them on the forums about it, then didn't take my own advice, and then it cracked on that too. But you'll find that it'll just snap off, and you'll come back and your regulator will be laying down here somewhere, down in the bottom. So the best idea is you undo this screw, put a tie clip there, tie it to the frame right from the start, and you won't have any more trouble with that, and you won't have to go back bothering the dealer. He won't have to order it for you. No one will take any notice. It'll just look like any other thing on the bike where it's just tied together. And example, you know, you got your tie clip there and everything will look good. Next thing after that, I'll get down here on the shock absorbers and drop the adjustable shock down to its lowest setting. That'll be a very easy job, because just get the spanner on it and spin it around to the lower setting, so that's only a couple of second job. So apart from that, those are the 5 things I'll get onto it, and after that I reckon it'd be good to roll. So we'll work on the foam grips first. So 8mm, take this one off. We'll just do this in small segments, so it's these ones here off, and they'll be replaced by these foam grips here. Now we have the factory grip trimmed down, or the end of the rubber trimmed down. Doesn't take long. You could cut the grip right up and put it on, but I just leave the original grip on there, trim the end down, and just use a bit of washing detergent on the new foam grip, a bit of lubrication, then slide it on. Like so. So if you were looking a couple of seconds earlier, you would have noticed the grip stuck halfway on, so that was because the lubricant had dried out a bit while I was getting ready to push it on. So I had to run right back around this side, grab it, and then twist it around, and then push it on. Now you see it's on there quite, well, it looks pretty good on there. When you swing back over this way, look at the standard one that you've got here. You come back over this one, grip's good, looks nice, pretty happy with that one. If you look at what I used, so I used full concentrate, so the best idea, well, I found, I put on about, I don't know, 5 of these I suppose, on, no more than that, 6 or 7 of them on different bikes. The idea is using full concentrate. I've tried mixing it with water and it's too much friggin' trouble to do it. So, full concentrate on the original grip after you trim it. After you trim the excess rubber off the edge here, on the grip, then lubricate inside this one here. And it's a bit difficult with a camera when you're doing it because I don't know where to put the friggin' camera in that while I'm doing it. But lubricate inside the grip, on the original grip, force it up over the top, and then push it through and keep it moving going there once. This one over here on the throttle side will be a little bit more difficult, but it'll do it. They'll last about 12 months for on there. You'll find them a little bit less on the vibration side, a lot more comfortable to use, no more sort of hand cramping, and I think overall a good mod for 20 bucks. So now we have side 2, throttle side, ready to go. The other side's complete. Side will have to be lubed pretty well with the detergent because it's always a hard one to get on this one, but like I say, can be done. Yeah, I suppose I should have bloody told you I got this one on, so I had to rip it off and do it again. I bring the rubber grip, the foam grip, up over the edge here and hold it onto the edge there. Put my finger back down into it and press it right up inside and bring it into it and push it all up into the top so it holds pressed up right up against the throttle, and then push it onto the top of your throttle, and then you can get it on. If you just go up there and try to push it on, it won't. It'll just wobble around, stuff like that. You'll say, how the fuck am I going to get this on? So the idea is put your finger up inside, and that way you can widen the mouth of it open, and then you can get up close, increase the size of the entry hole, bring it up onto the front. Now what I'll have to do will be lubricate this. It's dried out now, re-lubricate it before I start pushing, because when I start going now I'll have to get this in one go right along there, move it along pretty quick. So we'll carry on with this exercise and see how things go. Okay, this one's on, completed. We've got both grips on now. So overall, how long did it take? I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, so it's not a big job. If you use undiluted lubricant, like I showed you earlier, and like I've watched a few of them do it on the tube at times. Well, not not these particular ones, but I've seen them do it, and they fuck around for a half hour trying to put them on. But it's no big deal, just follow what I said, trim the piece if you have to do it, use plenty of lubricant. On the throttle side, put your finger up inside the foam grip, tape in the mouth a bit, put it up onto the grip, the old grip itself, push it on and then stop there, re-lubricate both sections inside and out, slide it on, and you'll get it out of the way pretty easy. And then after 12 months when they shit themselves, cut them off or whatever, put a new set on, and you'll find that they are good to ride with. Nice grip. So that's part one of the fix for this bike out of the way. Or not part one, but that's the first thing. All I've got to do now is drop the bars, lift the mirrors up, fix the other pieces up, and we'll work on other pieces of the bike. And maybe anyone that's watching this thinks to themselves they want to go for the grips, they've got a rough idea what to do or stuff like that, and I think for $20 that's a really good mod. Well, job 2 is going to be dropping the handlebars, and I'm going to have to get down here and remove these, or undo these two 13mm bolts. So I think I'll protect the chrome tank with a cover. Might be best if I don't scratch the bike. Like I said, I don't know how long I'm going to have these bikes for, so if I don't look after them properly, it could cost me a few bucks long term. So, and I think by the looks of it, seeing I haven't done this job before, I might twist it this way to get the right hand one, and swing around this way and get the left, so that will get that job out of the way and protect the tank and hopefully get the job and drop the bars and fix that up. Well, it didn't take long at all to actually adjust the handlebars. That was a pretty quick fix, but the disappointing part of it all was when I went to undo the nuts for the handlebar adjustment, bloody things weren't even tight to start with, so I really don't know what was going on. So from my point of view, it was lucky that I decided I was going to adjust the bars, because it was something I wouldn't have thought about, and the fact is they weren't even tight. So it was probably a good move on my part. Okay, so we're at the stage now we've got the bars done. We're ready to pull out the spark plug. Probably use a Bosch by the looks of it. Got me NGK spark plug. Had a spare one from my last bike. I bought it at the Honda dealer. They charge a bit extra for it, but they carry them in stock, so that's one good thing. Like I said, a BPR 6ES. So we'll pull this plug out now. Oh well, now onto the regulator bracket. So to get to that one, I've had to remove me battery cover bracket, the chrome one, and I've got to come into the regulator bracket and from this one here, and we'll have to unscrew it from this direction here. Looks again like an 8mm. So we'll unscrew that one and get into that one, get that one out of the way. New plugs in, so that's good. 3 of them out of the way now, so only job 4 and 5 to go. So that completes that job on the regulator. On to go. Rear shocks are pretty easy to adjust anyway, so it's just a matter of either you can get the right tool to do it, or you can just get a adjustable wrench and just turn them left or right. So it's a pretty simple 3-stage step. So just put a rag around the bottom part of the shock there, or twist it by grip hold at the bottom of them, just turn left or right and they'll just ride up and down. Once you're on the centre stand it's a lot easier to move them left or right, so it's no big drama moving those around. So it's a pretty simple move anyway. Oh, well, before I close off part 2 of this one, I thought I might just tell you a bit about these classic chromes. So the classic chrome was the last to get this new style tank with the seam that runs down the centre, so it's a little bit more oval shaped, and all the other bikes got it, but for some reason in the chrome one it was a lot slower putting them on the chrome than the solid paint colours. And how you can pick these tanks, the earlier models tanks, they had 2 bolt holes in this section here. These ones here are rubber mounted and they slide back onto the tank, and supposedly it probably cause less vibrations, but it's hard to say with these bikes. Like I said, some vibrate more than some others. So that's one way, but from sitting on the bike, these ones here are not, this tank is a lot better to look at than the other ones. So for 2017 I noticed they got the bit better tank, and with the tank they've got better connectors back here into the fuel, from the fuel pump back down into the injector. All the other ones used to just have a screw there like the old style. Hose comes up, screws in, it goes from there back over to there, and just like you'd expect on all the old motorbikes. The best thing I like about it, this bike has got the new kickstart, which I think come on Himalayan or the Continental GT, so it's got a nice solid foot on it. So when you see it out like that, it's a lot better. Not the kickstart, I mean side stand. It's a lot better side stand. So alright, well guys, we're at the end of video 2. So what have I done? Okay, bit of the phone grips. They look like they look pretty good. I've lifted up the bars, adjusted mirrors and all the hardware, so that's alright, all good there. Fitted the new NGK BPR 6ES spark plug, put the tie clip there on the regulator, adjusted the shocks down now to the lowest setting, and found out my friggin' batteries are near flat, so it's only showing 3 batteries on the charger. Earlier on it was a bit slow on the start, so when I give it that first test kick I thought it was either something to do with, most likely, but I thought it was kicking over. These bikes start on a slow start like that, no use pressurising and try playing any further. If you go something like that and eventually keep going like that, it'll only put pressure later on your sprag clutch, and you don't want that to happen. I've already had to replace the sprag clutch once on an earlier bike with problems when they get into those sprags. I actually bought a new bike back in, I think it was 2014, and it had a faulty sprag right from the very start. So that's something you have to look at. I've only ever had one bike with a crook sprag clutch, but you can tell straight away from a fully charged battery how your sprag clutch is, because it'll just on the power start it'll just kick over and spin, or partly spin. But I've got a video on that one, and later on I'll throw one up and you can have a listen to see what it looks like and stuff like that. So apart from that, this isn't totally flat, but it's not worth pressurising. I might as well just put it on the C-Tech charger, and that'll get it back up to where it is, and it's not far off its first test run, I think. Rather than go chasing spanners, I just use the long nose pliers as a grip on it. Just be a bit careful and just rotate it that way just to take the tension off the hex head, and then after that rotate it so that it came off pretty easy. Let's see how we go with this heap of shit. Oh yeah, look at that. Just like I said, what friggin' rubbish they put in. It's fucking wet, black. See what it looks like in the sun. Look at it. How would you expect that to friggin' go? Just like I told you in the beginning, every time you get one of these bikes, these fucking spark plugs are no good. The bike won't idle, it won't run. Look at it. Wet, you can see how wet it is around the outside. And people buy these bikes and what, it's still that bosh. I'd be alright to throw at someone. About all. But anyway, the NGK will fix this problem with light, it'll better, it'll go better, start, all that. And I won't have any problems with it. So just goes to show you when you buy a new bike, it's only done 17 kilometres, so I think it had 12 on it when I rang him up about it. I told him to test ride it to see if the bike was alright. He said it was, but if you had bought a bike like this and you didn't know about this spark plug idea, you'd get onto it, you'd ride this bike, you'd be out on the road, you'd be running it in, you'd pull over to stop, it'd start, it'd be hard to start. It'll give you problems, it'll cut out at the corners when you get to any giveaway or stop sign after a few more kilometres on it. You'll be saying what a bastard of a bike and stuff like that. And all because of these spark plugs, they're just no good on the bikes. And then it's these little things like this that sort of give you the idea that just $10 or $6 to $10 on a bike like this could improve them straight off from the start. Everyone would be happy. So if you look at it, say when I make putting these bikes together, a decent friggin' spark plug, $6 over here if they fix this problem here, couple of dollars spent there, no one would fucking complain about a broken bracket, and they've been told about it for 2 years and they know about it. Just minor things. We get back into here, see just behind here on the negative, they've been told about these positive and negative leads for the last 4 or 5 years about them snapping. They still haven't done nothing about it. How much would it cost to make 2 good leads for a positive and negative? Could you do it over in India for $10 and no complaints? I mean, what would most people say common sense would be? Fix them up for a few bucks, less complaints, nobody complains about the stuff, and everyone would be happy for just a few dollars. You know, you're not even talking hundreds of dollars, you're just talking just a few dollars and everyone would be happy. So that's the difference. So, but you know, I know about all these things, so I don't give a fuck much. Anyway, we'll get this one out of the way now. Yeah, I had no choice really but come in from both sides, so the spanner wouldn't get it from just one direction. So if you're going to have a go at this job, you really got to cover the tank and spin the bars and swing in it to get each nut one each way. So this is the end of part 2 of the video, and what are we up to? Well, I've managed to fit the chrome once this bar end weight's removed. This part here will have to be trimmed so the foam grip will be slid on here. I just use washing up detergent so you can just slide that new grip on. So we'll see how that goes.